All right, everybody, we are live again on another Thursday. I'm with my co-hosts here, my partners. We got JD, the champ of real estate, and Tavante, the guru. What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on, fellas?
Man, living the good life, baby.
Right on. Got a little feedback. I like listening to myself talk as we go along.
There you go. There you go. You got a sexy voice, bro. Let it in.
All
Let
right.
it in.
Well, hey, gentlemen, we're starting our series, right? So we took a reset, right? We came back, and I feel like, man, our last couple weeks has been some straight fire on the videos, and we got a series now starting up where we talk about marketing. That's going to be real awesome. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it, and hopefully we get a lot of questions answered. But today we're going to be talking about Google local service ads, Google pay-per-clicks, Google Map Packs. So the world of Google minus YouTube. We'll leave that for another video, but we'll talk about how you get clients from Google, which is really important, especially if you're in the digital age, service age. There's all types of things going, but I'm going to toss it over to Tavante and JD first. Guys, just share with us, what do you know about Google ads just in general before we get going? And I'm stalling too.
I
So
think
Man, no,
my conversation with you a while ago, Marcus, is just a minute about the importance of marketing, but like it's become more and more apparent to me how important like Google search is. I just had a guy call me today, literally called me and asked me to put my business on Google. And I'm not like for my business, I don't really need marketing, but just him calling and trying to sell this service is another one of those checks on the validation box of how important having your business on Google is. Everyone uses Google to search for anything, you know. So if you whatever you're searching for, people are going to go to Google. And when they go to Google, the first thing they're going to see is some businesses or whatever, some services. And they're going to automatically assume that these are the best businesses and services that they're looking for. That's going to go. So second page, third page, whatever, they're not looking at the second, third page. They're looking at the first page, and that's what they're going for. So that's power right there. You know what I'm saying?
it is, man. I totally agree with you, man. Now, JD, I know we talked about Google a little bit the last couple of weeks.
man, we've been talking about it for a minute. You've been breaking it down. Few things I've learned. One, you have to be very strategic and knowledgeable about how you're doing it because you've explained from what you've shown me, you can lose a lot of money fast if you do it the wrong way. So like knowing that if you aren't budgeting correctly or you aren't targeting correctly, you are, or I should say, if you aren't targeting correctly, you can run through your budget very quickly if you're not careful. But then also learning all the different ways that you can market and put yourself at the top if you're strategic. And one of the real big things that was kind of eye-opening for me is just with just doing the meetings and stuff we've had talking about it, is realizing how many people don't utilize it, how many people are out here kind of naked on Google. So that's been real eye-opening and help me understand how easy it can be to kind of take over that Google market share, getting your business out
Yeah. Man, so let's begin, man. That's a good point. And the point about, man, spending your budget. So I learned that firsthand. I spent $500 on what I have no idea to this day. Trying to do some wholesaling ads. It was gone. But I definitely I got better, whole lot more success. But we're gonna start with the new stuff first. Everybody knows about pay-per-clicks. We're gonna cover Google pay-per-clicks too, but we're gonna start with what they call Google LSA. Those are the Google local service ads. And let's go ahead, man. I'm gonna share my screen so everybody can kind of see what that looks like. So Google local service ads. That was what I was going to talk about. Don't look at that. Ignore the notes. But the Google local service ads, when you search for something, They have two types of things: Google Guaranteed and Google Screened. And let's do a real quick demo here. So if you do cleaning companies in Bakersfield, let's see, bam, we got Molly Maid is, made of Brugge. I don't know, but they got a 5, right? Molly Maid's got a 4.4 and Clean Strides. So we can see our cleaning companies up top. They're dominating, right? So this is your Google local service ads. Underneath it, you got your pay-per-clicks. It's got a little ad there, but they all show up first. This LSA up top, it shows up first before anything every time. And then underneath it, you'll have your maps. So nobody's running a Map Pack ads for cleaning services, so you don't see anything up top. But that's it. And then usually you get something like Yelp or Angie's List or something like that. Zillow, if you're in real estate, clogging up, realtor.com, clogging up the first top SEO spots. Then you got
Quick question, Marcus. Is there a specific reason that Google puts the LSA at the top?
Yeah, so Google put the LSA up top because a couple of years ago they started this division of the Google marketing because they intended to take all the feedback from people looking for home services and sell it and start their own company. So that was the real intention behind it. So right now, most people really don't know about it, right? You see 3 people running it for cleaning. If you're like in real estate, if you're running in real estate, you may not see anybody using it, but they're part of that Google screening. So they ask for your real estate license, background, stuff like that, that verifies that you are actually a real estate agent in the area.
Gotcha.
So now we saw that example of Molly Maid and the cleaning with the LSA. I want to break down real quick one more time. So I'll share my screen one more time and show you where to find it. So if you actually search Google local service ads and you clicked on the landing page, this is what it'll look like. So you'll be able to log in, get you a account. You can use your own Google account, or if you have a specific one you do your marketing with, you can use that account and set it up. And it's a real easy process. You sign up using your Google account, it's already verified, and then you put your name in, your address, you set your budget, and then they'll ask you for certain documents about yourself, right? And once it goes through the verification process, when I did mine for my appliance repair business, it took a couple weeks total because they wanted my business license, my insurance, and I think those are the main things they wanted. I had to do a background check for Google. So they wanted a lot of different things, but you'll be able to do that right in the setup screen for LSAs. And when it's done, it's done. It's on. The big benefit I want to talk about LSAs is it's a big box. It's always at the top, and you get this special little green check by your name, which it guarantees that Google had verified that you're an actual business. So it gives you credibility. Okay. But the big thing is like pay-per-click. If you click on the pay-per-click, when I lost that $500 real quick, with LSAs, if they click on the box, it opens a landing page, but you don't get charged unless they actually call you or message you through the app. And they also have a booking feature that they just went live a couple months ago. So they can actually book a call directly from that little box. They can text you directly from that little box, or they can call you directly from that little box. So you don't get charged unless one of those actions occur.
So that's the cool part, like, because I know with the ads, they can just click you, look at the page, and then disappear into the internet. But with the LSA, if they click you, you still don't get charged. So they're actually trying to get in contact with you, which saves a lot of money. Now, is that click when they actually call you? Is it as expensive as a click for an ad, for a pay-per-click?
Actually, it's a pretty good price. So when I look at my pay per click, I usually get charged somewhere between $7 and $17 with my LSA ads because I run them in two different cities. One city is usually about $15 for a call. Another city is usually about 17, $18. Um, the messages I've seen, they're like $10. So there's different structures to features in there, pay structures, but it's consistent. So if somebody calls you, you're gonna get the same amount every single time versus pay per click, where it's based on keywords, and each keyword is worth a different value. And another bonus of Google LSAs too. So say for instance, I'm in the appliance business and I want to work on refrigerators only through this type of ad. I'm only running ads that has refrigerators. So you have a little toggle screen where you can say, I want dryers, refrigerators, ovens, whatever. And when they search, it'll only show when they're searching that particular type of request.
Okay, that's cool.
I mean, so that kind of validates why they are charging. You said that toggle, was that for the LSA or was that for the pay per click?
For the LSA.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought that's the reason why they're probably seeing that it's okay to charge, like, it's not like you're going to pay more money for the pay per click than actually LSA. If it's based on keywords, those keywords have more value. You could potentially be paying more for that than the LSA, basically.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, but you have to look at it from this perspective too, right? You may pay $15 for a call, and it's a good call because they're intending to call to book, so you're going to receive funds for that. But if you're running something on pay per click, and say for instance they click on your pay per click, you get charged, call it $10 or $20, it doesn't really matter, because they landed on your landing page. If you have your tags or your Google Pixel set up correctly, you can show your content over and over and over because it's in that type of ecosystem. Whereas LSAs, they call, it's done. You have to either manually put them in your ecosystem or get their information from that call to put them in your ecosystem.
By doing it the pay per click way, it's basically like making a long-term investment and having this person in your system where you can give them information and feed them services for a duration of time versus a one go.
Absolutely, man. You can have them in there for a year and just kind of lightly, gently show them stuff over that period of time for a lower cost. So an example, my pay per click, I have everything set up on there, and I do Facebook retargeting. So I don't do a whole lot of lead generation on Facebook. It's primarily retargeting for people who went to my websites or my landing pages and they see a video or whatever I got going on or a special. I may throw some retargeting ads or image, something like that on Facebook. And it could be as little as 2 cents. The most I've ever seen for appliance repairs, like 4 cents for a video view. And you can, put like $5, $10, $20, whatever you want to put in on your retargeting campaign. So that way you can potentially recapture some of these people who visited your site, because everybody may not book right then, but if they go to my landing page and say they don't book at nighttime because they're waiting for the problem to see if it's really a problem, the refrigerator is not cooling a little bit or is making a noise, they may click and look for some people. And, while they're scrolling on their Facebook at 10 o'clock at night, they're seeing my ads pop up. And then in the morning where they're like, yeah, this thing's really not cooling, let me go ahead and give a call back.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's how it works too.
Yep.
Nice.
Marcus on the plane.
Yo,
maybe Jesus Christ is telling me I need to call market service. So
I need to call. It's the second time I've seen Zip today.
Yeah. It's a coincidence.
Lord, if you want me to use Zip, just say so. Oh, that's slick though. No, that's playing the long-term game on it. I love it.
Yeah, so then that's kind of the breakdown of LSAs. I know we talked a little bit about pay-per-click, but I'll show you too. It's the same. It looks the same. So this is local service. This is Google Ads is what it's called. In the ads, you have the map pack, so you can do campaigns for maps. You can do campaigns for YouTube in there as well, or pay-per-clicks or sponsored landing pages. The sponsored landing page, say you like on ESPN, and then you scroll to the bottom and you see an ad. That's what that is. So now pay-per-click, man, we talked about that a little bit. It's basically the art of convincing people to click on your link versus somebody else's, based on keywords. So for service industry is kind of easy, somewhat easy. Refrigerator repair, Samsung refrigerator repair, LG refrigerator repair, right? You will want those type of keywords in your campaign. So when people search for that, your stuff will pop up.
Right.
You can also select like a radius or specific zip codes where you want your ad to show up at. So that's important too. So I have a favorite zip code here in town, and I like to show my stuff there. So I make sure that's locked in, right? So that's a big benefit for that. We talked about the retargeting and the pixels. That's huge to retain clients, and also to pull other people's clients, because if they don't call us because they don't like my landing page or whatever they see, they may call somebody else and they may not be able to solve the problem, but they're still going to be seeing my stuff. And if that's the case, they're going to give us a call, right? So that pay-per-click is powerful. It's hard to set up. So we'll talk about some of the drawbacks, right? You can pick keywords that you may think is good because you're used to searching it in that manner, but nobody searches the keyword because it doesn't make sense, right?
So how would you in turn figure out? Because I mean, I'm listening to your process, and it sounds like a lot of the stuff you learned through trial and error. So then, what was your pivot point when you start figuring out? Oh, don't do it like this, do it like that. Tell us about that.
I think I took a course, Billy Genius Marketing, for it was keyed on YouTube, and it had, because when you do marketing for YouTube, you have to understand Google pay-per-click as well. So he had some Google pay-per-click stuff in there as well.
Yes.
And when I took that course, then I understood why I lost all that money. And when you start a campaign with certain keywords, you also want to have negative keywords. So these are the terms that pop up. So your ad won't show when they search for these. So in my instance, new appliances or appliances to purchase or cheap appliances, because it has appliance in it. If I didn't strike it, it may show when I do a campaign, but right, because I put it on a negative keyword, it's not going to show, because we don't sell appliances. So I don't want my ad to show to somebody looking to purchase appliances.
Right. So it's, like you said, the art of targeting your specific client based on their specific needs, and keeping all the junk out the way so you can get right to who you can talk to.
Yes.
And if they are not exactly convinced from the beginning, the next part is, how do you get in front of them over and over again until they make their mind up?
Yeah, and that's the key, man. And I think most people, when they run ads, if they don't understand the impact of the retargeting and creating those audiences, then you'll be spending money and you're not putting that residual in a bucket to be able to retarget it. Again, you're just spending it hoping you get lucky. But especially if you're selling a product, people don't always buy the first time they click on your page. When they're looking for a service, they may not pick your service every time they click on the page.
Yeah.
Right. So they shop around a little bit, compare. But if they don't have a way to get back to you, then you potentially lost that customer. So that's why retargeting, with our next talk on Facebook, is going to be so important, especially if you run PPC.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense.
So yeah, no, I remember how you explained that to me, like just making sure you have that stuff, that type of stuff set up, so you aren't losing those people, you aren't losing those potential people, because that's just money it's just wasting on the back end. Like I remember we looked at a few pages that were basically doing that. You're like, they're hurting themselves and don't even know it.
Yep. No clue.
Yeah.
And you know the big thing too, man, when you're looking at like pay-per-click, the one thing people overlook is the power of the map, the Google map. So they may run pay-per-click with keywords, but you have that other section in the Google ads where you can, if you have a physical address, your address can show up on Google Maps with a pin. So we have a physical office here. So I set it up. When you search on Google Maps, our office shows up, shows on the map. And because of that, because I have my Google My Business page all set up and everything, you can run an ad on the Maps pack. 80% of people's searches are on mobile, and a good portion of that of people are looking up for businesses, especially service, on the map. What's close to them, what's around them, etc. Because the unique thing about the maps is it shows you their ratings. Pay-per-click doesn't show your star ratings. The Google Maps does.
Gotcha.
And the big thing about Google Maps, man, it shows you your ratings, but you can also pay to be up top, no matter where your office is, if you're targeting a certain zip code. And it's cheaper than pay-per-click. You can spend $20 a day and get thousands of impressions and hundreds of clicks.
So I think that's a great question. So let's talk about, like, maybe you're a beginning entrepreneur, you got a very shoestring budget. What's your options? Or you're a mid-range entrepreneur and you got a little more coin to spend. You know, like what's, and then you got maybe like experienced business and you're looking to get, but you've been sucking on the marketing section, obviously, but you got a business you want to grow and expand and you got more money. Where should you go?
Man, if you're just starting out, I would say stay away from pay-per-click, stay away from the map packs, right? Because most of the time you won't have a actual business and it'll be a pain even trying to show up on the map. I would say go with LSA. So if you have a marketing budget, if you're in the service industry, you can create an LSA ad, show up in the top 3 in your area, in your specific zip codes. It's real easy to set up the ad because they help you on the back end because it's specific to your industry. So you can't mess it up, right? There's no wasted money there. And you know what you're going to pay for in the budgeting area. You'll see it. So you'll know just about what you're going to pay for. So if you're within that budget and you get those calls, they can come direct to your phone or go into your CRM. That's the biggest bang for the buck. Second, I would say Facebook. And we'll talk about Facebook later, but I say Facebook because you can spend a little bit of money and reach a lot of people, right? It's good for influence outside of just your friends and family that are on your page, but you can actually target business owners if that's your clientele. You can target different zip codes and radiuses and things like that, and they can see you, so you can do videos and stuff like that, and it'll help you integrate more so in a community. Uh, Mid tier, man, I would say maps would be the second. I would implement LSAs, Facebooks, and then do the maps. And then once you actually get it rolling a little bit, then think about pay per click, because that's where if you mess up, Google don't care and there is no refund.
Google taking what they want.
They taking the whole chunk. Thank you very much. Walk away.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the real skimmy, man, on the Google ads, man. I've spent I'm actually trying to cut down my Google spend. I was spending like $3K at the beginning of the year. I cranked it up at my peak. It was just over $10K. It was ridiculous. So we're like $8K right now, and next month it'll be a little bit less than that because I'm optimizing my ads. I went crazy on pay per click. I'm not gonna lie.
Per month?
Yeah. Per month. Per month, man. You got to pay to play.
I feel you. Now, Marcus, like one of the things, I don't know if you want to open up much about this, because I know it's your kind of trade secret strategy slash. You showed me how, before you started your business, how you kind of scouted and saw what others were doing or not doing, I should say, when it came to ads. And that's kind of like what opened your eye. And I know you still do that when you go to other areas. You do the same thing.
I did it yesterday. This morning.
There you go. When you're thinking about scouting and spreading, can you go a little bit deeper in that, on how you do that, what you're looking for? Just give people a better understanding on where they should start if they're thinking about starting a business. I think it'll kind of help them understand who their competition is and what they need to do to kind of dominate that market. If that's what they're choosing.
So I'll share this, man, too. If you're a person where you're like, well, I gotta get all my leads, my customers are gonna come through referrals, this ain't for you at all. But what I do is, because I was starting in Bakersfield, so I live in Bakersfield, California, and I'm not from Bakersfield. Even though I lived here for 10 years, my roots aren't here. So my referral base is basically through my coworkers that I've had over the years, right? And you know how that goes, right? When you're dealing with friends and family, man, it's one
they already
thing.
Got friends and I was gonna say they already got friends and family.
Yeah, exactly, man. So, hook up prices or just not wanting to use it. We all been through that thing. So what I wanted to look at is, how do I get customers on my own, just being new and not having anybody to refer business to, and running ads so people can see who you are, know, like, and begin to trust you outside of your circle is the best way to go. So that's why, I put Facebook as one of the top ones, because people can see you, hear you, get to know you, like you, and trust you. But I use that strategy, man. Like, and I'll tell you today, I went to Pismo Beach yesterday, Santa Maria, SLO area, and we were scouting there a little bit. And man, I look at certain keywords. So I search it in Google, see who's there, who's showing up, because that's how most people are going to find service business. They Google or somebody refers, right? So for people who don't have a referral, I'm showing up top. So they don't have a company up top on the LSAs. They had 2 companies on pay-per-click, so they're missing a third, and nobody's on map packs. So when I look at that in those 2 separate spots, because they're 30, 40 miles apart, it's like wide open. between there. All it takes is one person. You can be from scratch to start your business, pay, and then now you're paying $13 for, automatic revenue coming in, right? With LSAs, because they're calling to get it fixed. All you got to do is show up, collect the check. So it's simple and easy to kind of break into the market, but how you manage your reputation outside of that is different, right? Because the top dog out there had a 3.9 rating, right? You don't want to really go under 4 that much, but only had 33 ratings. So it speaks to who's doing business out there,
right,
or at least their reputation. So yeah, that's the strategy I use. I also use another strategy too. We'll say that for another video, where I can stack different ads, and I do placements different ways. When I started doing the Google ads, I wasn't spending $3,000 a month. I had a budget, man. $500, right? $500. That was my budget. And when you look at $500, that's 5 service call fees with no completed work orders, right? So I look at it as, okay, I can sacrifice it's 2 completed jobs, right? I can sacrifice 2 completed jobs to get my branding out there and potentially get 2 more completed jobs. And once I started to see success in it, I just cranked it up a little bit more, 750, then 1,000, then 1,500. And what you'll find out is there's a limit. So I know my limit, not to go over 10K, because you're not going to get more than what the market is going to give you. But there can be so much opportunity in the middle that if you keep spending 15 and getting back 250, so that's what it's worth for me, then why not spend the $15 if you're going to collect a $250 ticket?
Right.
It just makes sense.
That's good math.
That's good math. It works in the right direction.
Right.
$15 totally for $250. I spend it all day long.
All day. You can take that deal anywhere.
Right. It sounds like too, there's going to be some experimentation for each person that's running ads to figure out what that optimal point is for you. Your expense versus the revenue achieved by that expense,
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably the reason why a lot of folks don't run ads, because they're gun shy about that aspect of it.
Yes. And too, man, that's why people they'll call you up and be like, hey, I can, this is the thing that he would have did for you. Hey, I can get you on Google Maps, right? Oh, I can optimize your Google My Business page, right? So that's another fee. Get you on the maps is another fee. Optimize your Google My Business, and your website can be updated, plugging you for SEO right there. Are you running ads? Oh, hit you for ads. And the people who run ads for you, man, they may charge you $2,500, $4,000 a month. But when you look at it from the grand scheme of things, if they know what they're doing, it's going to be money well spent, because you won't be, if you try to do it yourself, you're going to throw away the money.
Okay.
If anybody out there, you come out the gate with a $3,000 budget, you're going to waste your $3,000. It's the first time you're doing it. Especially if you do PPC. If you do LSA, you may not be as efficient because you may not be ready for the calls coming in, but you won't lose money on LSAs. You'll make money on LSAs. You'll get it handed to you for PPCs and maps if you're not set up right.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think market is one of those areas that a lot of business maybe like an initial just get a little kind of gun shy, but I think it's good we talked about it today, because this could be a really good addition to anybody's business if they're trying to really get competitive and really trying to get people to see who they are and get their business people coming through the doors and trying their service. Because, I think once you get people trying your service, you have good service, they're going to come back. But the key sometimes is getting them to try your service,
Yeah. Oh, shoot, man. We're going to do another video too about CRMs, client retention, the importance of CRMs and client retention. It's huge, man. It's huge. So, but shoot, man, what else y'all got? Y'all got any more questions, man, for this Google stuff? We got anybody in the chat for Google stuff? Anybody out there? Nope. All right, Kristen's handling the chat. But yeah, just to share my results, man. I don't know. Kind of give you an idea of what I did. I just did this. Dang it, where'd it go? I track my calls too, and so I can know where they're coming from. And I've got tracking numbers set up now, so when they do come in, I can know where the call is coming from too. So I can see, okay, is LSAs giving the most calls or messages or whatever. Here we go. So, and my referrals are bumping up too, which is a great thing. But as of we'll do this. So of my $8,000 that I spent on Google, and all right, so we got 203 booked appointments. So what is that? So that's about $39 spent. So now I can buy my LSAs, pay-per-clicks, all in one, right? Maps, all in one. So my Google spend for my Google specific appointment set, it cost me $39 cumulatively, because sometimes they click on the pay-per-click, they get retargeted, then they click on the LSA, and then they come to me, right? Gotcha. So overall, $39, and each one of those calls, we do a service call fee of $99. So you net that out. Plus our average close ticket, like I said, is pushing $250. So it's an overall win-win. It's $39 on average to get $250. Yeah,
that's the nice. Money's there. The money there, man. It's like it's almost a for sure gamble. But you gotta know what the hell you're doing to make it a for sure gamble.
You do, man. And I'm like I said, I'm only 2 years in business, and our referrals, we're at 62 right now. We did 62 this month in June. We actually did 62 last month and 64. So I'm kind of like stuck. Even in May we did 64. So I'm kind of stuck in that box of like 60 on referrals. But 200 new customers. So we got to do a better job of increasing our referrals after we get our Googles. That's another chance. But we got a lot of opportunity.
How do you define your referrals? What do you mean? Like actual person referred you? That's how you?
Yeah, somebody referred or said, hey.
How do you track that?
The callers. So when they call in, how did you hear about us?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if they referrals, also like it's kind of hard to kind of mix it out unless they say such and such referred me, which it happens sometimes. Sometimes they just see one of the vans and be like, hey, I saw your van. So we just mark it as COD as well. Yeah. Or I got one of your business cards. That happens too. So,
Facebook.
Yeah. Well, no, Facebook, we got that as separate. So we got Facebook, Yelp. If they're one of our members, stuff like that.
Even if somebody refers you, like I know, like we'll usually tag you if I see somebody ask, do they need to apply for it? Do you count that as a referral if it's tagged on Facebook, or
it depends on how they respond. So if they can't say, hey, I saw you on Facebook, then we'll mark it as Facebook. But if they say, hey, such and such told me about it, it'll just go under the.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I keep hearing in my head, like just hearing you talk about your process markets, is that until you start getting consistent business and you can start making the mistakes while doing business, you just can't optimize anything.
Nope.
So like that's like key. Like people, we start businesses and then thinking like, oh, it didn't work out. That's because you didn't make enough mistakes. You know what I'm saying? In order to make mistakes, you got to get people through the door. You got people to, seeing what you're doing to actually take part in your process and your system. And then you start, oh, that was messed up. That phone call was totally jacked up. I just messed that call up, and this person was happy, but they didn't like this, that, and other. And then now you start optimizing, and that's how you essentially grow the business.
Yes. And that's true, man. If you say Google doesn't work, or Facebook doesn't work, or Instagram doesn't work, all these, they don't work, it's because you're not doing something right.
Something right, for real.
Because they work. And maybe everyone may not be for you. That could be the case. But at the end of the day, they work.
Yeah.
Good shit. Now, good shit, Marcus. I ain't got nothing else.
Well, hey, man. That's it. I hope y'all liked it. I hope it was informative. And we're gonna get more of these on the schedule. So look out for the Facebook one. The Facebook one, whoo, the power of Facebook, man, and Instagram, right? They're same company owned by Meta, but man, I could see why they were in Congress. They have them in Congress because some of the stuff they got in the background about what they know about you is ridiculous. You can target it down to a zip code. That people like this, or people who last visited this, it can get real crazy on Facebook and Instagram. So you gotta, if you don't have it, go get you a Facebook pixel, install it on your website. If somebody else manages your website, get your own pixel. Don't let them put their pixel on there. Get your own pixel so that way you can have it and own it. So even if they take their website away, you can still have the data, because if they own it and you stop paying them for your website, you lose all of that data. Like, Facebook is powerful, period. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that another day.
Awesome. Good show.
All right, gentlemen, this is another good talk, good topic, important topic, especially for the business owners out there. Again, we are the Triple Profits Podcast every Thursday around 6:00 ish.
Yes.
We'll be
That's
here.
a good time. That's a good time. 6-ish.
6-ish. We got stuff going on. But until next week, see y'all later. Peace.